Hello, it's been a while that I've been able to come and speak with you all, but as life happens, you do fall sick, and immediately as I started doing my podcasting and my recording for different vlogs and content, I suddenly had a very high fever and also was very sick, so could not continue having a conversation with you all on a very regular basis. So this is going to be some sort of a recap over the last couple of days. One of the things that I really enjoy doing a lot is also around the fact that I like doing academic work and work around research and all. So the last couple of days have been more along the lines of resting, recuperating from the health issues that I was having previously, but also from the fever and cold and cough that comes around every winter. That is something that I was trying to recover from and then move into sort of researching, thinking about what to do next, how to close out the year. I'd initially planned to go to Kolkata for a couple of days, but now I'm wondering if I should or not because of my health issues. And I was kind of figuring out how to close out the year, figure out things about the next year and how to start and what to do and what not to do. And that took a lot of my time. And I couldn't really come and sit down and talk to you, catching up with all of the things that I had left out doing because of having fever and lying down on bed for the last couple of days. It was not really very pleasant. Whenever I have fever, it usually spikes up to 101, 104. I remember earlier in the year, in 2024, I went around to Dehradun to take a class at Vellum Girls for an workshop session that was being done there, the training program. And I remember the journey being a bit towards the end of the night. It became very hard for me to go there. But when I did reach, um, I at that day in and of itself, before I had even taken a single class, I had already started gaining fever and taking Calpol, dealing with a 104-degree temperature in, say, a place where you're not having any family anymore, and also staying in a hotel without any support or any other person there. It's very hard to then recuperate and then get back onto your horse. Somehow managed to scrape through those days with the training and everything. The students there were amazing. It was a very great experience at the end of the day. I regrettably could not explore a lot more. Dehradun was one of the places where my family used to stay because of my dad's transferable job when I was a child. So a couple of years we spent there, and so I wanted to see the city, see the couple of things that have been mentioned a lot of times at home, and I couldn't really avail of that opportunity to go and do so. So that was a bit of a sad thing for me because it is not really frequent for me to go to Dehradun. That was probably the only time I returned to Dehradun after we moved out, and so yeah. But otherwise, the day could have not been more boring for me. The last day that I did not, the first day of me not recording, basically, which was I think the 13th or 14th, around that time, and just laid down. Took a huge amount of time sleeping, and sleep cycle and everything, working and all, has been really scattered, and that has become a problem. So that was also something that I really want to get back into doing properly. Thankfully could recuperate enough so that the next day the fever went down, but the cold has persisted, it's stuck around, and that's a very annoying thing to have in the winter. You always have to wear layers and layers of clothes. Even when I'm not feeling that cold, I really have to be careful that even if I'm sweating buckets, that I need to go and wear something warm so that I don't fall sick. And it's also the constant fight that you need to be careful that if you have sweat or anything else on you, you need to clean up or do something so that the sweat doesn't in and of itself create a problem for you further down and make you feel worse at the end of the day. And the other bits and pieces of time was spent relaxing, watching anime or doing something around that line, and say thinking about work which I was missing out on and stressing out further about work, and that became a very big bummer for me. Then thankfully right now I'm back. I wouldn't take a lot of your time because there was not really a lot to discuss over the last few days. I will give today's update separately, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for having patience with me and the entire process. Hopefully we're back again now and we do this more regularly now. I do intend to show you a couple of places, have a couple of unique conversations and interviews before the year ends, or at least talk on a few interesting topics that I had in mind to discuss with you all. we'll get there, basically. I hope to get there eventually. And it's not that easy always, also. Then you're dealing with everything by yourself. You're dealing with work, you're dealing with business end of things, you're dealing with your own life, you're dealing with trying to do something new where you don't have a lot of support or a lot of discussions, which is another separate topic that I really want to discuss with you all, about how family pressure and everything works around starting something new and doing something new. But that is a discussion for another day, probably. So we'll just stem that flow right now and wrap it up here so that we don't take up a lot of your time to give you an update about me being sick. But I'll recap the day for you today, and then I'll see you all pretty soon, discussing a couple of other things coming soon on the channel. I do have another couple of things which I do on the side in YouTube, which is around the fact that I do teach debating. So I like to create content around debating as well, which is also something that I'm planning to release in the next couple of days, as well as some other stuff. So stay tuned. I hope to get back to you all very soon. Thank you again for watching. See you all soon. If you haven't liked, please do so. It helps me out a lot. Please subscribe if you are a returning viewer, but also somebody who's new and joining us into our journey for the first couple of times. Thank you. Namaskaram. Take care. Have a great evening.